Ar-Ridwan Publishing House present
Mike's Bike. Brilliant, sighed Mike, lying in bed and staring at his favourite poster.
Terrific. Space Blazer, the bike for the space age. What a machine.
Every night before he went to sleep, he gazed at it for ages. One particular summer night, he had just closed his eyes when he heard a strange humming sound. He sat bolt upright and saw the poster shaking wildly. Then, with a sudden whoosh, the bike burst off the wall and roared onto the floor. Mike gasped in amazement and fell out of bed. There, in his room, was a full-size Space Blazer and the girl from the picture, as large as life. Who are you? Gulped Mike.
I'm Tina, and I'm a space rider. Come on, don't just sit there. Let's go for a ride.
Very quietly, Mike helped Tina carry the Space Blazer down the dark stairs and out into the garden.
Cool. Mum and Dad will have a fit if they see me.
As soon as they were outside in the moonlight, Tina jumped onto the Space Blazer and zoomed off.
Watch this, Mike. You can do super wheelies on the Space Blazer.
Mike was itching for a ride, and as soon as Tina dismounted, he leapt onto the Space Blazer.
Well, that was all right, I suppose, but watch me.
He was just about to move off when he stopped short.
But I haven't got a space helmet.
Tina pointed at his head.
You're wearing it.
She laughed. It was so light that he hadn't even noticed. Every now and then, it hissed softly.
That's the oxygen.
Mike had a shimmering spacesuit too, with big pockets for space rations. He jumped onto the bike and rode off to practice wheelies. First, he wobbled one way, then the other, but at last he made it. But doing wheelies was hard work.
I wish it had an engine,
he complained.
But it's got power rockets. You just push that button on the handlebars. No, don't touch it, don't!
But it was too late. As Mike pressed the button, there was a low rumble under the seat, and the rocket spluttered into life.
Push the cutout switch!
Yelled Tina.
Where is it?
Before Tina could reply, there was a mighty roar, and a sheet of purple flame burst from the back of the bike. Mike shot off across the garden and screamed straight towards his dad's car. Patang went the front wheels that hit the car bumper. Ka-chow went the rockets as the bike zoomed up its sloping back. But it didn't come down on the other side. Tina watched helplessly as Mike clung on, and the bike took off into the night sky. Tina could only watch as the Space Blazer carried Mike away into the night. Within a second, he was 1,000 feet up. Within 2 seconds, he was a mile up. And a minute later, he was still going up. At last, Mike found the cutout switch, and the bike slowed to a stop. He looked down for the first time, and hanging there in the darkness was a tiny green and blue ball.
That's a funny colour for a tennis ball,
he thought. But it was not a ball. It was the world. You could make out Africa and India quite easily. When Mike realized how far away he was from home, he began to feel rather small and lonely, and just a little frightened. As he drifted in space, he dug his hands in the pockets of his spacesuit, but all he found was the wrapper from a Venus chocolate bar. Then, suddenly, he saw the welcoming lights of a spaceship twinkling ahead of him, and he felt much better. But something was not quite right. As the craft got closer, he could see a man in a spacesuit dangling from a lifeline, waving frantically. He seemed to be shouting, but Mike couldn't hear a word. Then he saw a tiny silver box moving rapidly off into space. He knew what he had to do at once and pressed the bike's rocket button. The machine roared into life and Mike zoomed after the floating, spinning box. Scooping it up, he tucked it in his space pocket and headed towards the spaceship. He pulled alongside the enormous grey hull. As he climbed into the airlock, a great cheer went up from the crew. He was a hero. "Smart work, kid," said the captain. "That box is vital, you know. It's our space compass. We'd have been lost without it." He tried to mop his brow, but he was still wearing a helmet. "You deserve a reward."
Well, I'd just like to go home, please, said Mike. "I'm feeling really tired."
So the captain put the ship into hyperdrive and set his course for Earth, using the space compass.
Wow!
Mike's tennis ball got larger and larger until it filled the whole window. Soon, Mike began to see fields glistening in the moonlight, and then the river snaking towards his hometown.
That's where I live,
he shouted.
"Can you drop me off here?"
The captain pinned a special medal on Mike's suit and steered the ship carefully until it hovered right over his house. "Stand over the launch chute," he said. Mike picked up his helmet and walked to the tube. Suddenly, there was a strange noise, and he felt himself falling. Mike clutched wildly at the air with his hands, and then shut his eyes. When he opened them again, he was in his bed, and the sun was streaming in through the window. He rubbed his eyes and looked up at the poster on the wall.
There's the space blazer. And Tina. So, it was all a dream.
But he had not looked under the bed.